Good morning, everybody. This is Diggs. It's another beautiful day out here in the Pacific Northwest. And before you pull on Final Fantasy VII Remake or anything in the future, it's really important that you understand what the different banners mean, what rates you're getting from them, and why you should pull on each of them. For some people, it'll be a no-brainer. Some people already have it already planned out. But even I myself, looking at these rates and thinking about things, it made me realize that how I've been pulling could be changed. And that's really what we're going to talk about in this video, is how to judge your account, how to figure out, which pulls you should be doing and which ones are going to be most optimal for you. Let's go ahead and dig in. I do believe I forgot to say, it is absolutely wonderful out here in the Pacific Northwest right now. I do have to give a special thank you to Ashaman. If you guys aren't familiar with Ashaman, he is the person who helped me with the star calculations back when the first 9-step came out. He kind of helped me put together a spreadsheet and kind of work through some of the differences that we have with cumulative pull data for all the different pulls. So we will be going over that data. Also, thank you to Mathberry, EDMberry, Zev, and Jason. Zev and Jason created the first iteration of the spreadsheet, and then the spreadsheet that Ashaman created was based off of their original version that needed some adjustments and fixes. But overall, thank you everybody in my Discord who contributed to this. Let's go ahead and talk about the data and what it means. So what you're seeing here is kind of the different ways that you can pull to get to pity. Now we have basically 3 different pulls, right? Technically 4, I guess. We have the regular paid banner pulls, right? That's going to be a 3-step up, 6K paid Visior. We have the 9-step, which is all 9 steps of the 9-step pull. We have what you're going to see is 6-step and 9-step, because we also want to break apart the 6-step out of the 9-step pull, because that is a very good value, so to say. And there are situations where you may want to do the first 6-step and then do the final 3 at the end of the cycle if you want to optimize your chances of pulling a unit. Then you're also going to see what we call pity, which is just the normal banner, right? Where once you pulled 5 times, you get another pull with a 25% chance of a single slot to be that unit. So that is kind of what the different pulls here mean. And what's probably most interesting, just looking at these pulls kind of directly, is that they all give different things and different chances, right? So a lot of people are probably coming into this video thinking that I'm going to say there is one universal way to pull. And if you have a lot of Visior, or if you're in a situation where you're just going to pull until you get the unit, or you're going to pull until pity no matter what, there is an optimal way to pull, and that's going to be doing the 6-step and then 2 pities and then the last 3-step in order to get your full pity if you haven't pulled the unit. That would be quote unquote optimal. If you value the sort of weed that you could potentially get, then that is another story as well, and you may end up doing the 9-step first and then the pity. But there is a whole different ways to pull, and some people are pulling and they only have 10K Visior, so which banner should they pull on is the question, right? Because they may only want to get the unit. So what do you pull on? Where do you start? How do you kind of assess your account and which banner to pull on? Well, first thing you need to know, do you need the weed and the rainbow broadstone that the 9-step banner offers? That's the first question, right? The second question you need to ask yourself is, are you going to max this unit out? Do you have enough Visior to pull all the way to pity? And if you don't have enough Visior, do you just want to get the unit because it's a limited time unit and put it in your barracks? If that is your situation, if you are someone who only has 12K Visior to pull on Cloud, you are going to want to just pull on the pity banner. The reason for this, as you'll notice here looking at the numbers, is that the pity banner does give you a higher percentage chance to land the unit than any of the other banners. You notice at the 6th pull, which is 12,000 Visior, has a 53% chance to be pulled here. You'll notice down here, you don't get to 51 to 53 until you get to 14 or 16 on the 9-step here, and you don't get to 51 and 53 until you get to the 14 or 16 step here. So if you're looking for just the most optimal way to try and pull a unit because your Visior reserves are low, pulling on the pity banner is actually the best way for you to go. Now, there are other things to consider, particularly with the pity banner, which I think are important, which we'll talk about when we start getting to paid Visior. If you do have paid Visior, and I think this is kind of a situation that deserves to be talked about a little bit, if you're looking to just pull the unit, the paid Visior 3-step banner is going to be the best to pull on because you get that 51% chance by step 3. Now, a lot of people say this 3-step paid banner is a trap, but if you're looking at cumulative rates and potentially looking at the different routes that you could pull, it is actually one of the best ways to try and pull the unit. Now, we've kind of talked about this all kind of, like a sweeping arc. I think if we're going to round it out and say, what should you do if you have enough Visior to do it? I would say do the 6-step, do the pity ×2, and then do the 3-step. If you are using paid Visior, it is a little bit of a different situation. So let's go ahead and transition to the paid Visior slide because it is a little bit different. You kind of have 3 options with paid Visior. You have paid, a 6-step, and a pity. You have paid, a 9-step, and a pity. And then you have a paid directly to pity. Now, there is some interesting things to consider here, and that is if you consider paid Visior to be the same as free Visior is very important here, because if you do, paid is definitely where you start. If you don't, if paid Visior is very valuable to you, a great example of this would be using paid Visior to buy the shards that are in the shop. So you can buy 5 shards for 60 paid Visior, and you can buy upwards of like 900 shards combined with all 4 Final Fantasy VII Remake units if you have like 11,000 Visior. That's a huge value. So if you are not someone who has a lot of paid Visior, you probably don't want to pull on the paid Visior banner because it would be a quote-unquote trap. If you are wanting to just acquire the unit though, the paid Visior banner would be the way to start out. Another thing to consider when you are pulling on the paid banner, paid into anything bucks you out of a pity. Because if you go paid into 6-step, paid into 9-step, paid into pity, no matter what, you're going to be screwed out of a pity. For example, if you go paid into pity here, you'll notice that we only have 2 pities here on the screen. And if we go into paid into 6-step into pity, you'll notice we only have 1 pity on the screen. So you would actually have to go to that 21st step in order to get that 2nd pity. Another thing that's not being considered here is if you do go directly into paid into pity, yes, you're going to have the highest rates of pulling a unit, but you're also going to be paying more Visior because you're not going to be doing the 9-step, which the big, attraction of the 9-step is that it offers you those free pity coins on those free pulls. So it saves you that 4K Visior. So if you're going directly into paid into pity, you are not going to have that 4K Visior discount. However, there is something to be said for going from paid into pity and potentially cashing in that 21st summon to get that pity, right? And kind of having that potential to actually pull the unit if you have to go that far. Cash in the coins for unit shards, right? Because you could cash in the coins for up to 200 unit shards, which is a 10K Visior value. There's also the consideration that the pity banner itself is units only. So you're only going to be getting unit shards, and you're not going to be getting the VC shards that flood in on the 9-step banner, right? Because you have to consider that no matter what route you're going, if it's including the 9-step banner, you're basically shooting yourself in the foot as well, because you're getting those vision card shards, which to me are essentially almost useless. At least in terms of the stage of my account is in. So the paid to pity does have a certain appeal if you are wanting like unit shards and you're just wanting the raw unit percentage. Paid into 9-step into pity is going to be really good if you want weed. I would say this is the best kind of you know, value to consider. This is probably what I used to do almost all the time, was going to paid into 9-step into pity, just because I was desperate for the weed and the rainbow broadstone. I actually think, looking at this and thinking about this now, I would not recommend it. I would probably just not do the paid banner, and I would just do the 6-step into 2 times pity into the final 3-step, just because I wanted the weed. I didn't really need the paid banner, because I was pretty much planning on PDing anyway, because I wanted to go all the way through the 9-step for the weed regardless. So this was definitely a mistake that I made for a long time, was doing the paid into 9-step into pity, and I would recommend you guys don't do that, because you don't have an option, right, to pull for that 21st time like you do with the other options here, to potentially pull that unit and get that bonus percentage for pulling that unit. Paid into pity is best for the unit shards, which we already talked about. Paid into 6-step into pity is great if you want that 21st roll. It basically is going to give you a 2k chance to transform your coins into shard visors of 10k. So if you're feeling like a gambling person, I would go paid into 6-step into pity. Personally, honestly, like, just thinking about all of this, I honestly think the paid banner is probably not the best, unless you're wanting to go just into, like, I don't know. Like, I personally feel like it would just be better to follow the other way and go 6-step into pity times 2 into 3-step. That way you have good chances. You're going to get your pity, and you're also going to get your weed. There is, you know, kind of some different things to think about with that too, depending on your account, but I think that's going to be good. I'm going to try and bypass the paid banner, I think, because I think, especially for Final Fantasy VII Remake, having that paid visor is going to be extremely valuable. Anyway, guys, I hope this video helped you. I hope this helps paint an understanding a little bit of what the different pulls can offer you and why you might want to pull the way that you do. I hope you guys avoid the trap that I fell into of pulling on that paid into 9-step into pity. I would say that's the biggest trap you can fall for, and I definitely fell for it every time. But yeah, if you guys want to support me, make sure you use my affiliate link, dig.gs/coins, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.